So it's common knowledge that the hype for JoJo's Stone Ocean pretty much died down significantly when compared to the previous parts due to it being batch released after Netflix acquired the title, much like we've seen with Invincible on Amazon Prime. But I'm here to tell you guys that JoJo's Part 7 Steel Ball Run will definitely be marked as the #1 anime when adapted, and here's why. But first off, in case there's a bunch of viewers here that have never watched JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, here's my brief but simplified explanation of the series. If you would like a short summary on each part, that way you guys can get straight to Part 7. But on a serious note, before reading Part 7, I would recommend at least watching or reading the first 3 parts of JoJo's, because it not only creates a good foundational understanding of what is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, but you come to realize just how much of an amazing artist Araki is, and how he's grown with each and every part that he works on, and how it's not only influenced meme culture, but the many anime, manga, and even video games that we've gotten because of it, especially Part 3. Phantom Blood is the shortest and admittedly the most boring, although this doesn't take away at the fact that it's still a really well written story for its time. It's very obvious that with this first coming out in the 80s, that Araki took a lot of inspiration from what was popular at the time, such as Fist of the North Star and bodybuilders like Arnold Schwarzenegger, and decided to create a story that would create a foundation for the greatness that is Part 2 and onward. Because not only does it set the bizarreness of what is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, but it's also the beginning of the generation of different JoJos and JoBros that we see in each part, including Dio's impact on the Joestar bloodline as time goes on. Part 2 is probably where I feel most of the fan base falls in love with the series, because it not only does a complete 180 by having us go from the gentleman Jonathan Joestar good versus evil archetype to now his grandson who just doesn't give a fuck about any of that, busting out Tommy guns like a true American. But this is when JoJo's goes from a 7 out of 10 on the bizarreness level and goes straight to a 20. JoJo's Part 2 battle tendency for a long time was arguably my favorite part, because not only do we get the comedic duo that was Joseph Joestar and Caesar Zeppeli, but of course the Pillar Men. But when talking about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, everybody's mind generally will go to Part 3, not only because of the iconic and dripped out character design that is Jotaro Kujo, but this is when we get introduced to the premise of stands, which would end up becoming a big aspect of the series in future parts, as Araki almost does away with the concept of Hamon and essentially expands upon it more, with having stands essentially be another manifestation of it. Not only this, but what everybody including myself loved about Part 3 was the fact that the crew would have to constantly travel the world to eventually get to the big baddie that is Dio, as we get a new enemy stand user every episode as if it were a tournament arc. But by the time we get to Part 7, we eventually see that this was Araki's magnum opus. Araki essentially took everything that there was to love about each and every part, created a new universe, and created a gem that is now considered the second best manga of all time. Even years back, when first deciding to watch JoJo's Bizarre Adventure in 2019, around when Part 5 Golden Wind was airing every Friday, all you would hear or read about by the community is how much of a masterpiece this part was. I'll be completely honest guys, don't wait like I did, because if everything goes right, considering the huge hype behind this part, I wouldn't doubt that JoJo's would go back to being aired weekly. And if there's anything that this current era of social media or certain degenerate websites have taught me, is that you will be spoiled. But in terms of why I believe Part 7 will truly be the #1 anime, it's not only these reasons alone, but the fact that studios love money. They will definitely capitalize on, heavily market, and milk the series like we've seen with Attack on Titan and even current anime such as Demon Slayer, JJK, One Piece, and even Solo Leveling now. Not to mention the fact that this will likely continue to be produced by David Productions, which for those that don't know is the studio that brought us beautiful moments like these. So when we finally get this animated, I better be hearing Beyblade sound effects when Gyro spins his steel balls. We better be getting an orgasmic sound effect when Hot Pants uses her cream starter, and we better have the most S-tier voice acting when a certain character is told to fall off their horse. In conclusion guys, JoJo's Part 7 not only well deserves its spot as the #2 manga of all time, even being above series such as Vagabond, One Piece, Hunter x Hunter, or anything else that you could think of, but I guarantee that especially with a lot going for it, JoJo's Steel Ball Run will definitely be the #1 anime of all time that everybody should keep their eyes on. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe for more, and keep in mind that my next video will be uploaded on my other channel, so feel free to check it out in the link in the description. I appreciate all the love and support, and I'll see all of you guys within the next one.